It's known as the summer slide, and it happens to a lot of students who often lose the skills that they learned in school over the summer. It can be a challenge for parents to squeeze in academics as they try to balance pool time, camps, and working in the summer months. Carolee McGrath sat down with the Chief Instructional Officer at Springfield Schools to find out simple ways that parents can keep kids on top of their game even when school is out of session.
So the summer slide is what we describe as summer reading and math loss over the 2 months that the students are off for the summer if they aren't engaged in math and reading and writing activities.
And how difficult is that for teachers as the kids come back to school?
So it is a challenge because teachers, have a curriculum that they teach over the course of a year. And when the students come back, they want to start that curriculum, but often when they try to begin, they find that students have gaps in the learning. And so it takes about 4 weeks to fill in those gaps before they can teach the current curriculum.
Talk a little bit about the numbers and the long-term kind of spiral effect that it would have.
So if you think about a 1 to 2 month loss every year, by the time the students get to 9th grade, it accumulates to about a year of loss. And if you talk about the funding that it takes, when you talk about the reteaching over that time, it's about $18,000 a child when we're doing that reteaching if they've lost that amount over the summer.
And I don't think people realize that because it is a cumulative effect that you keep losing and as you go up in the grades. What can parents do over the summer, like simple things that they can do to try to combat that?
So one of the easiest things to do, and I know most of us have heard about that before, is just reading to your child 15 to 20 minutes a day. There's a lot of resources in all the surrounding communities with the public libraries. They all have summer reading clubs, and just reading with your child, books you have at home, books you get from the library. And the other thing that parents can do that sometimes we overlook is math. And so when you're cooking at home with the measurements, when you're driving in the car, the mileage, how far does it get, how long and how far is it from one point to the other. Even thinking about, manipulatives that you may have in your house with the younger kids to be used as one-to-one ratios or counters, such as beans. So there's a lot of different things that we do and that we use daily for math that we just never take the time to explain to our children, even at the grocery store.
And I think the stakes are so much higher because I have, a range of ages in my household of children, and I have seen the difference and the shift towards testing. So when kids go back to school in September and they're given the STAR reading test or whatever it is in your various communities, you can see, oh my gosh, we didn't do our homework over the summertime, and I feel like there's more pressure built in, to the school year because of that.
There is a lot of pressure, and that's why, teachers are feeling like they need to get to the curriculum that's aligned to that grade level. And so when they're busy catching up, it does provide a challenge. And then we're also trying in all the schools to provide the interventions necessary to fill in the gaps so we can get to the grade level material.
Okay, tell us a little bit about what Springfield offers. I know there's summer school specifically, but what other programs are offered during the summer?
So there's also a Star Talk program offered in Springfield, which is a 3-week program, and the students learn the Chinese language as well as the Chinese culture over that time. It's a very popular program here in the city. Another program that we have, which is for all students in grades K to 8, we have the iReady intervention, which all students were able to have their access code before going home for the summer. We have the site linked onto the PACE website for the Springfield Public Schools, where parents can go get more information. And we suggest that the students spend 45 minutes on those programs in reading and in math, 45 minutes per week.
Per week. Okay, I was going to say per day. They'd be like, nope, not doing it. Too long. It's the summertime. Talk a little bit about the fluency component of reading, because when I was younger, I don't even remember the whole fluency thing, but just really, picking up the word count. That is a big component of how reading is taught now and really emphasized. How can you work with your kids on that?
So repetitive reading. So even if, especially with the younger children, they have a favorite book. So you're reading it to them, they're reading it back. I probably wouldn't suggest timing them at that age, but just the repetitiveness, because when students are challenged with fluency, they're so focused on the phonics part of it, by the time they get to the end of the page or the end of the sentence, they've forgotten what they read because it was so challenging just to get through the words. But it's just the repetition, using sight words. There's grade level sight words that can be found online for each of the grade levels, K to 5, and just creating flashcards with those sight words so they're not struggling as they're reading.
And flashcards are still allowed, right?
Yes.
Some people are like, no, you don't do flashcards, but that's, I guess it depends on the child.
Words,
yeah.
For sight words, yes, because the majority of the sight words aren't going to be words that you can sound out.
No.
They're words that you want them to be automatic.
Right.
And so some of the larger words, they do need to have the phonemic awareness to sound those out. But with the smaller words, it should be automatic, which will help with the fluency.
And what about encouraging learning? That would be something that they wouldn't necessarily get in the classroom. If you have the opportunity to do an art program, there's a lot of free art programs, at the various libraries, or a music program, even something through a church or a VBS camp. Is that something that you would encourage the kids to try?
Absolutely. And so the Springfield Museums have a lot of science programs, a lot of art programs, a lot of programs where they're creating musical instruments. The Springfield Library is also having some science programs and art programs through there. And I encourage, even though it's not necessarily straight reading from a book, right, you are giving the students experiences that they can connect with when they come back to school.
And community reads. I know a lot of communities will have a book that everybody reads, all the grades, at least up to 8th grade, tries to read together, which can be challenging for parents, because if you have a 5-year-old and you're reading a 200-page book, you're reading that every night. So you might be exhausted at the end of the day, but it's something nice to do with them.
It is. It's a family thing where it's more the conversation that you're having with the book. So even though the child is younger, it's the rich conversation and the vocabulary that they're hearing when you're reading to them or through the conversation piece.